Did you know you could do that? I've known for a few months actually, and I'm not here to brag about this. This is a thing, this is an exploit that's been in the game for quite a long time. And recently what happened during the EU qualifier for First Strike is G2, the reigning champions, have won every single tournament that has taken place in the EU so far. Went against the team Guild, which is a pretty strong team actually. And Guild actually abused this exploit in the match against G2. It is a single elimination bracket, and G2 ended up getting knocked out of this second qualifier here, which is really a bummer for the team that has won every single tournament to get knocked out during the qualifier. I have my personal gripes with the tournament format that I kind of wanted to just express a little bit in this video, but I'm also going to showcase the exploit that took place utilizing this boost right here. My biggest gripe being, why are you doing a single elimination bracket for an EU qualifier for the Valorant's first official tournament run by Riot Games? I just think that's really bizarre considering all of the NA qualifiers are a best of 3. This one's just a best of 1, which is just really odd to me. So I guess I'm using the wrong terminology. It's not single elimination, it's just a best of 1. It just seems really odd in a game where there's more and less favorable maps for each team, and it seems weird to just leave it up to one map. Generally, if you're looking for the best teams to qualify, you probably want to run at least a best of 3, or even in the championships, they do run a best of 5. I just think this is weird. This isn't a video meant to really attack that, though. We wanted to talk about the exploit, why it took place, and what we could do better to prevent it in the future, I suppose. Once again, going back just to introduce the exploit, the problem is that you could place a Sage wall on top of a Killjoy turret. Now, you might be like, okay, this just looks weird. But the problem is that if you get on top of this wall, you can reach angles that you shouldn't have been able to reach before. So, for example, maybe you did something like this. This would be a really weird angle, right? Now, obviously, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, considering this was a bannable exploit within this tournament. Don't do it. However, I also do kind of want to point out the fact that this is still in the game. I don't know why. It's been in the game for a very long time. I first heard about this exploit on the front page of Reddit, so this isn't exactly like it's something completely new. I do want to showcase this clip in which I actually did utilize it. This wasn't a match. This was an unrated match, so I wasn't gaining any rating over it, and we did this once. We did not do this multiple times. I just wanted to showcase how it works and exactly what it is. So this is basically me and my teammates setting up. Kirby's going to drop his turret right here. I'm going to place my wall on top of it, and basically you would utilize an Omen or a Jet to get on top of this wall, at which point they can actually see through these B tunnels windows, and you can just watch. A little busted, obviously. That's a little unfair that you could just kind of see through this window and kill people. And this is actually how it's utilized within the G2 game. Excuse me, I don't have the clip of Pith actually getting killed by this. But what you're going to see at the very beginning of the round is Mixwell's actually shooting or pushing up. And there goes Pith getting killed, calling that he was boosted. I did end up seeing a clip from Pith's perspective, but very obviously this is an issue. And the problem is it's not an issue that's going to go away. As long as there's abilities like this within the game, there's going to be new exploits that occur. It's going to be a new thing pretty much every single patch. And it's really depending on how Riot's going to deal with these. And I think that banning Guild here, kicking them out of the tournament, disqualifying them, and giving G2 the win is a good way. That's a good first step. We've covered exploits before on the channel. How there was an exploit, how the Killjoy turret could actually see through the wall over here. Basically, what would happen is Killjoy would place a turret here, and if anybody was in boat room, it would start shooting through the wall at the player. It couldn't target the player, and it couldn't hit the player, but it would alert them of their position. And this is an exploit in itself. Basically, I'm not asking Riot to have an exploit-free game. That's just not possible. Obviously, that's not going to happen. It's basically all about their response to it, and the only thing that I'm really upset about their response to this one is that, like I said, this exploit it's been in the game for months. This Twitch clip is from 2 months ago that we utilized this. It's not like this is a new thing. It's not like it was unknown. It was posted on the front page of Reddit. It was really only a matter of time before something like this was utilized. And I'm not even going to say that this maybe was like something that swayed the game entirely. However, this does end up being a pretty close game. Notice how this game ends up being 10 to 12 here. That being said, this ended up being a relatively close game, actually. It ended up being 10 to 13. G2 easily could have come out with a win here. We've talked multiple times about how Valorant is a game of momentum, really. And ironically, that round that Pith got picked there, they ended up losing. So it ends up being 3-9 at halftime. Imagine Pith wins that round. They roll into the next half with the momentum that they needed. I don't like seeing exploits being used in game, and I'm sure I'm going to get comments below people being like, wow, King, you abused an exploit in game. Aren't you just as bad as them? Realistically speaking, when you're playing in a tournament, when there's money on the line, I think it's very different than using an exploit in unrated. So I figured addressing that point might be an okay thing to do. That being said, going back to the previous point that There's going to be more exploits in the game, and if you end up finding them, the best thing to do probably is, one, just not use it, and two, report the exploits. Post it on Reddit, let somebody know. The problem is, in the defense of Guild, having something in the game for so long like this and not having it patched out kind of makes you think that maybe it's not an exploit. If you saw with the Killjoy turret over here previously, it's not exactly like I need to get this pixel perfect to place my wall on top of the turret. I can just kind of do it, right? And it allows you. And this isn't even the only spot that you can do it over there. Like I said, this was just a random spot that I ended up finding. You could do it right here. I know you can do it over here on A to see over the wall. There's all sorts of spots that you can utilize this. Like, if this isn't patched out, I can see this being abused in so many ways. And, you know, when you have something like this in the game for so long, it kind of makes you wonder. This doesn't feel like something they didn't know about. It just feels like something that they chose not to patch out, and then it ended up being a problem within this tournament. And although in my last exploit video, I talked about how it is kind of on the player's code to not utilize things like this, when you have it in the game for so long and it's so easy to do, you kind of wonder, why shouldn't they? I think the big difference between this one and the Cloud9 one that we talked about previously with the turret shooting through walls is turrets aren't supposed to be able to shoot through walls, but I can very easily place a wall on top of it. Yo, wall, you're kind of ruining my point here. I think the only difference between this and the Cloud9 exploit is that turrets aren't supposed to be able to shoot through walls, but I can very easily place a wall on top of this turret. So if it's so easy, why shouldn't I be able to do it? Maybe this is just a mechanic. Anyway, though, I could see both sides of the spectrum on this one. I could see Guild's point of view. I can also see G2's point of view. I'm excited to see Guild in the next qualifier, and I'm also excited to see G2 go on. I think that best of ones are still really stupid for a tournament setting, especially when NAs are doing best of threes the entire time. But other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that Guild should have been disqualified? Do you think that G2 should have just taken the loss? Other than that, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel down below, be sure to do so. We talk about a lot of things with professional Valorant. We also do guides and stuff for the game if you're looking to improve. Also, check us out over on Twitch, where we stream pretty frequently. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.